that's our office. Our CFO's in that office. I'll give you a box of lemons for the boat tomorrow. You guys could be making ceviche on the boat. I might even have some ripe avocados. There you can see the prune trees. We picked these trees, and now this is gonna get all the, instead of it being way up high, it's gonna get all that energy into it and have sunlight going through it. My grandpa was 5, they moved out from Tennessee. They homesteaded a ranch that's about 4 miles that way on Waters Road. The road was named after our family. They lost that ranch in the Great Depression, and then Grandpa somehow was renting this ranch, 80 acres. And back then there was no well, there was no reservoir. Humans didn't even have the ability to drill down that far until the Hughes family figured out how to drill oil in Texas or wherever they were.
Oh, yeah.
And so my grandpa was like, oh, let's try that for water, and they found water. So before that, it was all dry land farming, which was apricots, and then they did turkeys underneath the apricots.
Oh, cool.
They found water from that point. Then Grandpa said, hey, let's be partners. You're not dissing anymore. And they started planting lemons.
Oh, okay.
So all this when I grew up was all lemons, everything. We didn't have any avocados, none of these blueberries. Lemon prices went terribly bad. So we did some vegetables. I farmed organic strawberries there now 15 years ago. And then we figured out how to grow blueberries. And now we're blueberries, avocados, and lemons. When I bought our first blueberry plants about 15 years ago, these varieties didn't exist. Their nature has nothing to do with them. They're not GMO or any of that, but they've been bred to live in this climate. And so we planted them. We didn't know if they would live, die, whatever. We figured out how to grow them. 15 years ago, we were selling it for $12 a pound, conventional, organic, and figured out how to grow them and doing good. But with us figuring out how to grow them, Chile figured out how to grow them, Peru figured out how to grow them, and now the best price we ever get is about $5 a pound.
Oh, okay.
In that time, we've also figured out how to triple our yields, and double to triple our yields, and that's what's keeping us in business.
How'd you get into fishing?
My dad. Used to only be into hunting, and he didn't really like fishing, but hunting's so hard to go hunting these days. He passed away, and he had a 20-foot arima, and a buddy of mine's like, let's take that out and catch yellowtail. I don't even know what a yellowtail is or different things, because all he fished for was salmon.
Yeah, okay.
If there was salmon out there, he fished for salmon. If there was no salmon out there, he fished for salmon.
Right.
My buddy put rocket launchers on them, pole holders, and we started going after yellowtail and white sea bass and halibut, and started upgrading boats.
Rockfish. All right, dude.
Here we go, finally.
Knocks off the boat, get another one.
Come on, JJ. Fish on.
Fish on. Lingcod.
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 Hey.
All right. Nice job, dude.
So when we were first coming out here and just doing
We were on
fishing
Dad's Arima.
with Dad's old boat. So we're running around. We heard there's tuna out here and all this stuff, and we see one of the helicopters that, you know, from time to time we lease out for some of our spray jobs and all this stuff.
Looks like one of the spray helicopters from the county.
Trying to hook us when he gets up.
So he starts pointing, we start going that way.
We're like, oh, he's showing us where the tuna are.
So he starts pointing, we start going that way. And then we were like, yeah, you know what, let's not pay attention to what the helicopter pilot's saying, let's do our own thing. So we'd turn, start heading out to Santa Barbara Island or whatever we're doing. We're heading out this way, and then that helicopter would come back around and spin around us and point and point and point. That's what it was. He did that like 4 times.
Hey, what a nice
We'd
guy.
start pointing, like, all right, he really wants us to go that direction.
Yeah.
We're like, he really wants us to go that direction. We'd start heading that way, and they were like, that's way too far. Let's go back this way. Then he'd come back around.
Then he flies real close to us.
It was like the 4th pass, and I'm
and
sitting there
gives
driving.
us-
And
gives
you
us-
look up, and he's
I
like,
look up, and Chris is like, dude, I think he just flipped us off. And I'm like, why would he do that? Like, he's trying to help us out. Why is he giving us the bird? Well, turns out we're in the middle of a live fire naval warfare drill, and they can't start shooting until they kick all the private boats out. And we're the only ones stupid enough to not have our radio on. We're just,
Well, that's a great way to get something across. Like, that's the universal symbol for, like, you're doing it wrong.
It's just classic that the whole fleet is listening to this, like, floozy,
Oh, that's
adjust
what it was.
course, you are in a live fire naval.
when we finally,
Over here.
we finally turned on the radio.
Thanks, bud.
The name of the boat was Floozing. It's like, we've been trying to hail you for 45 minutes.
Right through the bottom glass, he's just like,
Oh, man.
Between these plants and partners, we were able to buy the Lindell boat.